Okay, so you've got this huge political promise to bring factories back to America. You've got this high-stakes global standoff over computer chips. And then you have the explosion of AI. Now, on the surface, these feel like three totally separate stories, right? But they're not. They're actually all converging into one single massive shift. And it all kicks off with one pretty stunning announcement.
So this is the moment it really all got started. At the White House, you have President Trump standing right next to Apple's CEO, making this incredibly bold statement. And look, this wasn't just some political soundbite. It was a clear signal to the entire tech industry that the rules of the game were changing. High-tech manufacturing, it's coming home.
And this is the number at the very heart of that promise. $600 billion. I mean, let that sink in for a second. To put that into perspective, it's one of the largest corporate investment pledges in American history. Just a staggering amount of money. Now, the big idea here, the grand promise, was pretty straightforward on the surface. A manufacturing renaissance. The goal was to basically rebuild America's tech supply chain from the ground up so that the country wouldn't be so dependent on other nations for its most vital technology.
And it wasn't just Apple. After that announcement, a tidal wave of similar investment pledges started rolling in from other tech giants. You can see the pattern here. This huge, coordinated shift happening all at once across the industry. So you got to ask, right? What on earth makes these companies open up their wallets for these huge numbers?
Well, it turns out there was a very big stick to go along with that carrot. The threat was, get this, a 100% tariff on any chips and semiconductors made overseas. But there was a loophole, a very important loophole. If you build your factories in the United States, that tariff goes away. All of a sudden, those massive investments start to make a whole lot more financial sense.
Okay, so this gets us to the really big question. We hear this phrase, a made-in-America iPhone, and we kind of picture this factory in, Ohio or Michigan, building a phone from start to finish. But is that what's really happening? Well, as you can probably guess, it's a little more complicated than that. And this is where you really see the gap between the political slogan and the hard reality of the supply chain. The slogan is simple and powerful, Made in America iPhones. But for the companies actually doing this, the focus isn't on assembling the final phone here. It's about bringing the most valuable, the most critical parts of that supply chain, the key components, back onto American soil.
So let's break down what this new iPhone supply chain map actually looks like. You've got super advanced smartphone glass being made in Kentucky. You have the essential silicon wafers for the chips coming out of Arizona. And you've got specialized rare earth magnets from Texas. These are all the high-tech, high-value pieces. But, and this is the big but, look at that last step, final assembly. For that, all these amazing American-made parts still get packed up and shipped off to Asia.
And this is where things get, well, a little weird. You create this bizarre logistical loop. You make the most advanced parts in America, ship them all the way to Asia to be put together, and then ship the finished phone right back to America to be sold. As one analyst put it, that just sounds incredibly expensive. But I guess when you're staring down the barrel of a 100% tariff, maybe expensive starts to look reasonable.
Okay, so just as this whole grand plan is getting off the ground, a huge problem emerges. A crack, really, right in the very foundation of the strategy. The one company at the absolute center of America's chip ambitions, Intel, is suddenly thrown into crisis.
And let's be super clear here. Intel is absolutely critical to this entire strategy. They're supposed to be the national champion, the company that leads the charge in rebuilding the U.S. chip industry, even handling top-secret work for the military. But that cornerstone is starting to look really shaky. And the chaos just unfolded so fast. Last year, the CEO gets pushed out. This March, they hire a new one, Lip Bhutan. But by August, he's already facing intense political heat over past business ties to China. And now, the president himself is publicly calling on him to resign. It's a total leadership meltdown. And it's happening at the absolute worst possible time. And this is what's on the line. $8 billion. That's the federal funding, the money from the CHIPS Act that was supposed to help turn Intel into that American champion. And now, it's all up in the air. So let's just pause and take stock of where we are. We've got a plan that's already incredibly expensive and logistically complicated. The key company that's supposed to make it all happen is in total chaos. It just begs the question, how can this possibly work? How can American manufacturing really compete with all this going on? Well, it seems impossible, right? But there's a wild card in this whole story, a completely transformative technology that could flip the entire script. And that wild card is AI. You see, the real answer to making these expensive American factories work isn't about more politicians making speeches or even just hiring more people. It's about technology. Specifically, it's about how artificial intelligence and automation can completely reinvent what a factory even is and offset those high costs. And to really get your head around how this works, we need to look at a company you might not expect, the language learning app Duolingo. Yeah, I know, seems totally random, right? But stick with me. The way Duolingo uses AI to grow and scale is the perfect blueprint for this new American factory.
Think about it. Duolingo didn't go out and hire thousands of new teachers to expand its offerings. No, it used its core AI as a platform to jump from languages into completely different worlds. Things like math, music, and even something as complex as chess. It built a system that can learn and then teach new things. That's the key. AI becomes this engine for massive, unbelievable scale.
And the CEO, Louis von Ahn, said it perfectly. The goal isn't just about replacing people. It's about using AI to become a lot more efficient and create way more content than they ever could before. I mean, they're giving users AI-powered conversation partners. You just can't do that at scale with humans alone. So let's connect this back. This is the blueprint for the new American factory. It's not about those old, dirty assembly lines. It's about using AI to design products, using advanced automation and robots to build the super high-tech components, building massive data centers as the new infrastructure, and retraining a whole new kind of workforce that knows how to run all of it. And now, all of a sudden, that $600 billion investment from Apple makes a whole lot more sense. Just look at how they're spending it. Yeah, sure, there's money for glass and magnets, but a huge piece of that pie is going to the core infrastructure of an AI-powered future, massive data centers and worker training. This isn't just an investment in manufacturing, it's an investment in automation. And this is where all the different threads of our story finally come together and lock into place. You've got the political pressure from things like tariffs, which creates the incentive to invest in the US. And then you have the incredible power of AI and automation, which provides the means to actually make those investments work, to make them profitable. And this is so important to understand. We're not talking about trying to turn back the clock and bring back the factories from the 1950s. This isn't about nostalgia. This is about building something brand new, a completely different kind of industrial base, one that's high-tech, highly automated, and powered by AI.
But this entire massive transformation leaves us with one really profound question. As AI literally helps build this new American factory, a factory that can design things, operate itself, and maybe even teach, what does that mean for the workers of tomorrow? Who's going to be working inside? What will their jobs even look like? And that, right there, is the question that's going to define the next chapter of this incredible story.